Friends, welcome to automationpub.com. You can find the automation tutorials with example code and practice websites for Selenium and ProTracker in automationpub.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for getting notification on the new videos in your inbox directly. Also, reach to us to know more about the online training with Framework. Thank you.
We'll start with simple Xpaths. We also have advanced Xpath, which we will see later. Okay, now I'll go to this automationpub.com and I will say if I want to identify this Selenium and Selenium tutorial for beginners, I'll go and inspect this element. Okay. So first of all, what is an Xpath? Xpath is one of the locators. There are multiple locators that we can use to identify a web element. So locators are nothing but the address of the web element. There are two types of XPath that we can use. One is absolute XPath, other one is relative XPath. Absolute XPath starts from the parent, from here, from the head, from the body. From here, if I have to reach to this, particular web element Selenium, okay, then I have to put all the tags one by one from here. See how many tags. There will be n number of tags that I have to put, and if one tag changes in between also, then it will be a problem for us to fix that. So this is absolute XPath. So in order to resolve that, we are going for relative XPath. What a relative XPath is, it will skip all the tags that are before the actual HTML tag of this element. Let's say this is a syntax for the XPath. This star means anything that is any given tag that is present before the element that we are going to identify for. We put a square brackets at the rate and the attribute name. Let's say if we have an
could not able to see the XPath you are typing.
Okay, so that's very small, right? Okay, let me write it in a notepad. Are you able to see now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is, this is the syntax for it. This star means the relativeness. Okay, the relative, the HTML tags that are present prior to the web element that we are going to identify. So what we are going to identify is Selenium. Okay. So let's say this has an ID menu item 428. So now I'll put the @ symbol and ID equal to, always put it in single quotes. Okay, menu item 420. Now let me copy this and find it here. See, I'm able to find this. When I hover over this, it is showing me the Selenium. This is the XPath by ID. Say I can also identify based on the class name. So this is the class name. I can also have the XPath at class equal to, I'll paste a class path. Now this is the XPath using a class. Okay, so now I'll Control F, Control V. See, I'm able to identify APM. Okay, guys. So this is how you use the XPath. Fine. Now within this tag li is a list item. We have attributes like ID is an attribute, class is an attribute, and there are only two attributes. Okay. Now always do not take any attribute value with a number, okay, in it. because this will be randomly generated. The first time it identifies, the next time when the page is refreshed, this number will randomly change. So your XPath will fail. Okay. So if I'm identifying driver dot find element by ID equal to, and if I put this, see, I am identifying by locator ID. This is the syntax for that driver dot find element by ID. Okay. And if I give this, this will only run in the first run. The next time the page loads, it will not run because this 428 will change. This can be 528 or 628. Okay. So let's see that. Let me refresh the page. Let me identify this Selenium. Okay, now that it is still 428, I'll close it and I'll reopen the browser. Right click, I'll install. Okay, it is supposed to change, but it's not changing. Let's see. Let me use it in an incognito window. Okay, still it is same, but it generally changes. Okay, so maybe for some reason it's not changing now. It is definitely a random. So what the recommendation is, definitely don't use anything with the number. Okay, any attribute of the web element that is having a number, do not use it. This is driver dot find element by ID. Okay, now always I would recommend that you should use Xpath so that it is robust enough. So now I'll go by Xpath. Well, this is the Xpath that I have written. I'll paste it here. Okay. So now Selenium will be able to identify this web element by the Xpath and not by ID. And if you want to give directly ID also, then you can give by ID. Okay. Now this is one way of finding element by Xpath. Now I want to find, I'm not having any ID and all. Okay. So now let me see this image. Or maybe I'll go to this categories, okay, and I want to identify by the text categories. This is the text of this header, and I want to identify by the text categories. Okay, so now what I will do is, this is the syntax to identify by text. Contains brackets text of, okay, so within single quotes, I'll copy this categories and then I'll paste it here. Now copy and try to find the element here. See, I'm able to find. The problem with the text contains is, if there are more than one web element identified, then Selenium will always pick the first web element. Now in this case categories, I have only one. Okay, one of one. Now let's say I have, let me search for automationpub.com. Let's say I'm searching for automationpub.com. I'm getting one of 6 elements here. Okay, so the first element is going here, Next, we don't know where it is. It is hidden inside the script. Okay. So this will create a problem when you have more than one text searched for. Sometimes we need to use contains text also. For now, these two types of Xpath is enough for you to start your assignments that are present here. Okay, just go ahead and do the practice test cases. I'll be updating this once in a while. So you have as of now 31 test cases here that you can start working on this, and always try to use Xpath and not ID to automate these exercises, because only way to master something is practice it again and again. Okay, any questions, guys?
Praveen, how to find the Xpath for that pop-up, one subscript pop-up is there, right? When that ID will generate?
Okay, if I'm going to this automationpub.com, okay, let's wait for the pop-up to come. Okay, after the pop-up is loaded, okay, go and identify it. Let's say I am identifying the email. Okay, see here, I have a name email1. Let me identify what is the attribute name of it. It is a name, right? So at name equal to, see, I'm able to identify this. It is highlighted here. Only thing is you have to wait until this pop-up is popped. So you have to use if the wait until this pop-up is popped. Okay, so how do we identify this pop-up? Using a class pop-up inner or any unique label. Okay, any unique attribute of it. That's part of the assignment. So I'll waiting until some event is covered in another topic. We'll talk about Selenium weights. For now, if you want to refer to the Selenium weights, you can always go back to the Selenium tutorial, and I have put a blog for Selenium weights. You can refer to this article. I'll teach you this. This will be self-explanatory. If you can have a look at it and try for the, you can use this explicit wait and WebDriver wait. This is the keyword that to use, wait until something is displayed and perform some action. We'll talk about it in our next session. Okay, but meanwhile, if you want to try it, you can refer to this article and you can try it out. Okay, any other questions, guys?
Praveen, 1 minute. Go to that notepad. See, you told you should not take the path. The means you should not take the ID with the end with the number. But here you can take an ID. Instead of that, I should take the class. Right?
Yeah, you can probably take the class also. Anything that you try taking with this ID itself, as long as the ID is not changing, you can take. But anything with a number is not recommended, and anything with space is also not recommended. If I say I have this as menu space item space 428, then I will not take this up. And if I say I have any number within it, I will not take it. Say what can be unique. If I say menu item Selenium tutorial for beginners, then this is very unique, because I have other menu items, no menu items like Selenium tutorial for beginners elsewhere. I have only one, right? So it will be unique. If I say protractor tutorial for beginners, then I'll have only protractor tutorial for beginners. Likewise, APM tutorial for beginners will be only once. Okay, so that will be unique.
Go to the upper one, the class. In that class, you having end with the number. Yeah, this one.
Correct.
That's okay.
This will
that
not
end with the number.
Yeah. This number changes whenever there is the browser refreshes the document object model, the DOM.
For class also.
Class also, everything. Anything with a number will be randomly generated.
So in
Say for
that case,
example, sorry. Say for
ID
example,
also.
if there is a menu inserted before the Selenium, okay. Say I'm inserting a protractor before the Selenium, then protractor will have item 428 and Selenium will have item 429. So your test case will fail. But if I go by the words Selenium, if I have something like Selenium tutorial for beginners, whichever the position it is in the page, it will still identify because Selenium tutorial for beginners is the key property that Selenium will use to allocate an element.